Good morning, everyone. My name is Madison Nguyen. I'm the Executive Vice President with the Silicon Valley Organization. Thank you so much for being here. Before I begin, I wanted to thank my board members as well as members of the SVO for being here with us today. We really appreciate you being here. As I said 2 weeks ago, we wanted to review some of the findings from the investigation of the image that was posted on our website. And so today, that's why we're here. At this time, I'd like to introduce Kevin Suarez. He is a member of the executive board as well as a member of the board of directors with the Silicon Valley Organization. Kevin?
All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you, press. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank our amazing membership for taking some time out of your morning. And thank you, Madison, and good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Suarez. It's Kevin. And last name, S as in Sam, U-R-A-C-E. As Madison said, I'm a member of the executive committee at SVO. That doesn't work. Never close the book while you're talking. As promised, I am here to provide a number of updates, as we promised you 2 weeks ago. The investigation into the posted photo, the formation of a D&I advisory board, an update on membership, what SVO looks like now and going forward. I'll introduce a member of the new advisory board. I'll introduce our incoming board chair, and I will take questions at the end because we kind of left you hanging last time because it was such short time for us. We couldn't take questions. We want to take your questions today. We'll answer whatever we can legally answer for you, okay? So let's start with the investigation. At the SVO, I want to give you an introduction first. At the SVO, we, our members, our staff, and our board firmly reject racism and are committed to supporting and advancing equity in our organization and in our communities. I can't state this enough. I know it's only words, but it's more than words to us. We're very serious about this. We must all continue to make a positive difference by addressing racial disparity and working together to achieve equity and justice. So let's review the facts. On Monday, October 28th, a terrible racist picture was posted to the PAC website. It hurt our community. It was a mistake. It does not represent the feelings of membership or staff or management or board. Now, an independent third party has conducted the investigation without prejudice. What was found was a series of mistakes, errors, and lack of process that led to the posting, which was taken down immediately when CEO Matt Mahood was made aware of it. The investigation has completed its interviews, and a report is being written and should be available in the next couple of weeks. It is important to understand that we did not move hastily, but we needed to also move in a timely fashion, because without timeliness, the facts start to dwindle over time. It's critical that we move quickly, but not hastily. The independent investigator, who we've mentioned before, Jen Cornell of CDF Law in San Francisco, had full access to all people or records that she chose without any interference from the SVO. So what we know now is the following. To start, this issue was within the PAC and was regarding a PAC activity. The PAC had its own board and budget, not tied to membership or member dues. It was run as a separate organization, though ultimately reported up to the SVO CEO. This is not to make excuses, but to share the context today. As of today, the investigation has turned up the following 4 important findings. Number 1, and this was critical, the investigation did not uncover any specific intent to post racist material or to stoke racial divisions. Number 2, the posting appears to have been the result of a lack of communication and a breakdown of process between several people. Number 3, the webpage was published without going through a proper review and approval process, and was not approved by anyone at SVO or the PAC with the authority to approve such a posting. Matt Mahood was not aware of the webpage until the community notified him of it. He had it immediately removed and then resigned so as to accept full responsibility for the impact its publication had on our community. Now, there is no excuse for what happened recently or in the past, and everyone at SVO is heartbroken and as appalled as all of you are. And we want to be a part of healing our community. Saying we are sorry will never be enough, but it is a small start in a long process ahead. I want to move on to the next topic, which is the formation of the D&I Board of Advisors. As we promised 2 weeks ago, we were forming a team of community leaders who would advise, teach, help, and review content going forward. The new SVO, now without the PAC, needs to listen better and hear what is being said. One important facet this group can help with is reaching out to our community to start the healing process and help us listen better and respond more to their needs. Changes in the other three divisions can take place only in the context of a broadly shared understanding of the truth about what occurred recently as well as in the past, and of what our community needs in order to reconcile and begin to heal. Our staff and board members must sit with communities of color and hear firsthand what damage has been done to our community from this and earlier PAC activities, or any other activities. Only in this way can we demonstrate sincere willingness to learn and to change for the good of all. The Chamber is the opportunity zone. The Chamber represents the best of business in our community, and every business in our membership absolutely wants a symbiotic relationship with the community as a whole. This is why we have asked for help from other community leaders. The people who we have thus far are the best of the best in our area. I am proud to announce a few community leaders who have stepped up thus far to volunteer their time to help us move forward with open minds and open hearts, to be the best chamber we can be for everyone in our community, with more people to come. First is Shiloh Ballard, CEO of the Bicycle Coalition and was 14 years at the Silicon Valley Leadership Group. I've mentioned Shiloh before. She is a terrific community leader, and we thank her for her dedication to this effort. Darlene Tenez, owner of Casa Q and the founder of the Farm Worker Caravan for 2020. And finally, an advisor to this committee, cannot be on the committee because of rules at San Jose State, is Dr. Bill Armelin. A lot of you know Dr. Bill. He's really amazing. He's the founding director of the Human Rights Program and associate professor in Department of Sociology and Interdisciplinary Social Sciences at San Jose State University. His team will be advising us all on improving our awareness and outreach to this community. By the way, his team is available. This is what they do back for our community. It's just a great group of people at San Jose State. One of these people is going to speak shortly to you today, or speak to you shortly today, however you want to say it. Now, let me give you an update on membership, because you've all had a lot of questions on this. After the news broke about the photo, we had approximately 4% of our 1,200 members write to us saying they would not be renewing. However, after we dissolved the PAC, many rescinded that request and are now staying with the organization. Now, our new board comes in on January 1st, and this is an important thing. We have a new board, and it swaps out, and a lot of the new board members will be coming on. Not one of the new incoming board members has left the board or the organization. And in fact, we added 6 new members over the past week. Part of this uptick may be in response to dissolving the PAC, which was widely viewed as positive by the business community that we serve. Now, we believe we may have lost some of the larger companies in the short term, as many told us they intend on coming back if the PAC was dissolved and the D&I advisory board is in place and community progress is made on healing. As we continue to listen and work with community leaders, I would expect many to return in the coming months if they haven't already. Okay, let's move forward to the next topic. What the SVO looks like now and going forward. Please take a look at this amazing, wonderful graphic on my side here. So I'm going to walk away not too far from your mics, but a little bit. The SVO has been a group of 4 divisions: the Chamber, the Foundation, Silicon Valley Forum, and the PAC. They are in general run as separate organizations. They have separate focuses of what they focus on. I'm going to tell you a little bit about each. As you know, last week we dissolved the PAC, hence the big red cross through the thing. It had its own board, it had its own execution. Many PAC board members resigned from just the PAC board. The PAC raised its own funds. All issues brought up over the past several years, at least those I am aware of, stemmed from the PAC. Now, the SVO organization is really four distinct divisions: the Chamber, the Foundation, Silicon Valley Forum, and the PAC. And all those issues were in the PAC so far. Now, they did not involve the other divisions, most of which already had a strong culture of diversity and inclusion. Our other divisions asked me to please share a little bit of their work and some specifically around diversity and community that they have been doing, only so you might better understand the organization as a whole and how the missions are separated and often unrelated to the former PAC activities. Let me talk about Silicon Valley Forum first, right here. I'm just going to give you one example. Silicon Valley Forum creates events for and with our tech community, our very important tech community in San Jose and Silicon Valley. As one example, the Women in Tech Forum this week, that starts on Friday, has 60 female speakers with 66% women from diverse backgrounds. And that team has had a diversity focus front and center in all its events for over a decade. In the tech world, SV Forum is considered a model organization when it comes to events featuring diversity in the tech community. Let me move on to the Chamber right here. The Chamber has been here for 133 years, longer than I have been alive, believe it or not. Over the summer, the Chamber took a lead role in our business community supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. Guidance from the Chamber proved critical for our 1,200 members. The Chamber encouraged our members to sign petitions for justice for George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery. We recommended donating to 48 Black nonprofit organizations, and we provided links to educational videos on systemic oppression and listed local peaceful protests that they could join. This was critical to our membership, who asked us to lead them in this way. Recently, we partnered with local religious groups to work with the county to open businesses and churches safely during COVID. In fact, I received a letter from a member just last week saying that the Chamber helped to save his business as we helped him navigate and eventually access COVID relief funds. And for that, he was eternally grateful to the SVO Chamber. And lastly, let's move to the foundation right here. This is something we can all be proud of. Over the course of 5 years, the SVO Foundation, along with San Jose Works program, has directly provided 625 summer internship jobs to local underserved youth. 77% of these youth live in economically disadvantaged areas, and the overwhelming majority of these students are from families of color. Now, on many levels, the Chamber, the Foundation, and SVF's reach across the community has been exemplary. Let's come back to here. The PAC was not. And it distorted the views of the organization as a whole. It distorted the community's perception of the organization as a whole, and it's gone, and that's a first step. All divisions must step up efforts to do more with our community members to, in fact, overperform to make up for what has happened. And not just say, the PAC is gone, but use this as a catalyst to engage the community across our other three divisions. Now, this is a multi-year effort, and we are just getting started. We are beginning racial sensitivity and diversity training across our staff, provided by our PEO Insperity. We will need to make the tent much larger and treat everyone in our community with dignity and respect, and make up for past actions that didn't reflect who we are and who we need to be. Our goal is a process that achieves reconciliation between communities and organizations that have been harmed by the SVO PAC practices in the past, which contributed to a toxic and racist political culture in our community. Our goal is the emergence of a community-partnered chamber organization that is eternally committed to an anti-racist framework. There is recognition from staff and membership that this is not about an isolated incident, a single staff member, or one leader, but indicative of a culture that created campaigns that became divisive, deceptive, and detrimental to our community as a whole. So we are not saying that we have rectified our problems, but we have taken important first steps by dissolving the PAC and thus ending political mailers and ads and posts supporting or attacking candidates, by being transparent about the investigation outcome, by acknowledging that we have been and have seen and have had several issues over the years that serve to divide our community, and by committing to move forward with the help of our Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Board. Now, aligned with those first steps, we are launching a national search for a new CEO, one who will reach out to everyone in the community with open arms and open ears. Businesses, nonprofits, and citizens alike. Together we win, but divided we fall. Now, I am so honored to welcome Darlene Tenez, who is a new advisory board member and a wonderful pillar of our community. Please welcome Darlene.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Darlene Tenez, as you know, from Casa Q by Darlene, which is a Hispanic lifestyle business. I was a member of the Silicon Valley Chamber many years ago. I'm actually not a member now and have not been for quite a few years. And, you know, I came in because basically the chamber needed to wake up and smell the cafecito, right? They needed to grab a bobo tea along the way and figure out that 63% of the population here is Asian and Hispanic. And they need to reach out to those small and medium-sized businesses. This incident that just happened is not a one-time thing. There's a long history of discourse with the community in Santa Clara County. Long time, 20 years ago, I received the Small Business of the Year award. For 6-8 years, I co-hosted the Schmooze Fiesta with the Chamber. And there were problems back then. I was hearing about racial discourse and how they were not fair to the community. So this is a long, long history. I think it is fabulous that they have gotten rid of the PAC. The only thing I'm going to miss about that is a barbecue, because that was a great barbecue. But I think it's really good because we don't need to be political right now. Right now, in this time of history, with the pandemic amongst us, with all the small and medium-sized businesses hurting so much, we need to come together. We need to heal. We need to work together as a community and help and build and support these small businesses and medium-sized businesses and the corporations. You know, every large corporation that's here in Santa Clara County has been built on the backs of small businesses. PayPal, eBay, Yelp, and the big daddy of them all, Amazon. Who do they support? Who do they work with? Small and medium-sized businesses. So even the big corporations rely on them, and the chamber needs to rely on them too. The chamber needs to heal with the community and reach out and be more welcoming. There is a reason why there is a Black chamber and a Hispanic chamber and a rainbow chamber and a Vietnamese chamber, and I can go on, because they have not felt welcome in this chamber. They have not met the needs that they've had. And so they need to be more welcoming, they need to be more supportive, and I think it is a good first step for them to have this committee that they are putting together. There's a list, and I've seen the list of some great community leaders that will hopefully come on board to this committee to help create that bridge. And so I'm very excited about that. But again, it's not going to happen overnight. This is a long, long history. So 20, 30 years that I've known about it, of having, you know, not being good with the community. So it's not going to happen overnight, but it's a start, and it's a really good start. And the other thing I want to mention is you know, immigrants are twice as likely to start businesses as a US born American. So they really need to do more outreach too with the immigrant community and have more language-based and culturally based programs that are more active to that community.
Okay, and finally, I will come back to answer questions, but finally I am pleased to introduce Glenn Perkins, currently a vice chair and incoming 2021 board chair of the SVO, to share his vision of how we move forward stronger together. Please welcome Glenn.
Good morning, everyone. As Kevin said, my name is Glenn Perkins. I'll spell that Glenn Perkins, Perkins, and I am a board of directors member, a member of the executive committee, and the incoming board chair for 2021. If I don't speak loud enough because business is at work behind us, let me know and I'll try and raise the volume just a little bit. Before I get started, I want to make two acknowledgments. One is today is the 225th birthday of the Marine Corps, which was founded by Act of Congress and Continental Congress in 1775, and we owe a lot of gratitude to our Marines. And tomorrow is Veterans Day, and we should acknowledge them. Although we don't always see their faces, we know and honor their sacrifice. Let us humbly serve others in our community as they've served us in distant lands. So happy Veterans Day to everyone and to all who have members of their family who are veterans. About 5 years ago, I was introduced to the SVO and I shared my observations. I relayed that the SVO were like the barbells at my local gym. They had a bunch of very, very small companies on one end and a bunch of large companies on the other end, and not very many in the middle. And the middle market companies that Darlene talked about and others in our community are the backbone of our community. They create the jobs that for our citizens and our workers here. They're very, very important. So what I said when I realized that is, I said, let's fix that. Let's figure out what we can do to support middle market companies. How can we have the SVO add value to those companies in the organization? And we started to do that. And over time, I've come to learn that not just in serving middle market companies, but smaller companies and larger companies, what the other lines and activities of the SVO have been. There's so much good that the SVO contributes to our community, and there's much more that can be done. We're here now at a point where something is amiss, something wrong was done, but it's time for us to go forward and let's fix that, right? That's where we are. We have a way to go to repair strained relationships with the community and with some of our past members. As incoming board chair, I am and will be reaching out and asking current and past members to help us as we move forward. It is through our collective that we will continue to strengthen business to the benefit of the entire San Jose community. Many years ago, I was introduced to a specific problem-solving method called appreciative inquiry. As opposed to focusing on things that are wrong, which of course we must address, we should figure out what the SVO and the Chamber are doing well, and we should do much, much more of that with a lens of inclusiveness and diversity in everything we do. So that's what we're going to do. The Chamber, the Foundation, and Silicon Valley Forum, we're going to do more of the good things that we've been doing all along. It's an appreciative approach. I'm very proud of what these three lines of the organization have done for our business community. Specifically, as we've tried to endure this pandemic, Kevin talked about many of the things the Chamber, the Foundation, and Silicon Valley Forum did to support businesses for getting through the times that we're in. They've helped our member companies, and they're going to help us continue to safely reopen our economy here in San Jose. So, it may seem like a bit of back to basics, and it is. Provide direct services and support to our members, the business community, and to the broader San Jose community through networking and visibility, public policy and advocacy, economic development, and community development. And we will improve and learn to perform these services in more diverse and inclusive ways. For over 133 years, the Chamber has been providing value, resources, advocacy, and support to our business members and to the community at large. We will continue to be driven by the fundamental belief that when businesses succeed, our community thrives. So thank you, and back to Kevin, and thanks for all the board members who are here with us today.
Luann, I didn't hear what business you represent.
I represent Renaissance Executive Forums. I'm a business coach.
Thank you so much, Glenn. I promise to open it up to questions. I will answer whatever I can. Obviously, there's some things that I won't be able to answer, but we left you hanging last time. Again, I want to apologize. We were 2 days into it, and there was just no practical way. We didn't have any answers. It's 2 weeks now. We have more answers, and so I'm open for questions. We're going to just start on our left, if that's okay.
Kevin, if you're not going to have a PAC, will you be raising money for campaigns, and will you be donating to candidates?
Okay, the question is, will we be donating to candidates and raising money for campaigns? That has not been the normal course of action for the Chamber, the Foundation, or the SV Forum. That is what the PAC was formed to do. So that is not our intention under any circumstances at this time. Hope that answers that. Yes?
As far as the PAC, how many employees were employed under the PAC and what has happened to them?
Great question. Great question. The question was, how many employees are in the PAC versus other areas? This is a little bit complex, but I'll try to explain it. There's a set of employees, and most of the time those employees are only assigned to one area. But especially during COVID and a little bit of a tighter employee base, let's say, some employees could be shared between them and would bill their time to that thing. So someone might be working on foundation work or chamber work, but later be working on SV Forum work, etc. So there is some, and this has been said before, there is some mingling where an employee, especially at an admin level. So for instance, finance. We don't have 4 finance groups, right? All finance just eventually is done by a finance team that does that, and that time is shared. So there are employees whose 90+% of the time was in the PAC. There are others who would be pulled in for a short, for 2 hours and would have to bill their time for that as an administrative function. That's not unusual in a nonprofit organization like this. And remember, this is a nonprofit, right? It's a small nonprofit with a small number of employees. So I hope that answers your question.
So how many were assigned to the PAC?
Yeah, has anybody lost their job with the dissolving of the
So, we can't answer any HR questions at this time. But I would note that earlier I said we are awaiting a report that will come in, that's more formalized, that will come in the next few weeks, and that will advise us more.